All right, guys, let me know if my audio is okay as usual. Hope everyone's doing well. If you guys are ready to get into this, I know some of you OGs are in this chat. I can see you already talking away, but if you're ready to get into this, I need you to type the word ready. I need you to let me know where you're from. I need you to tell me what you shoot and what you shoot with. I already got it. I'm already getting side eye from the security guard over here being like, why are you all loud? I'll be loud. Yeah, walk away. All right, guys, if you're ready, I want to hear ready in that chat, where you're from, what you shoot with. We're going to get into this. I got to tell you, I had a flashback in my brain about when we used to do this on Twitch. Remember that graffiti wall we used to do this against? Yeah, some of you OGs know what's up. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Boom. What's going on, everyone? Happy Monday as I trip over a stool. What's going on, Edgar, Mike, Tony, Robin? What's going on, everyone? Brad, always good to see you. All right, so you guys are already jumping the gun. I see you guys already putting in Nikon ZFC, Nature and Macro from Sean. We got Robin with his Nikon Z8, Events and Portrait. Didn't I see a Canon person in here? Where are you? Good morning from SoCal. What's it like in SoCal right now? It is so hot here in New York. Mike's from Birmingham, Alabama with an R6 Mark II, 5D Mark IV, still holding it down for DSLR people. All right, shooting people. All right, well, there you go. Watch YouTube flag that I said shooting people. Watch that. Delaware, Canon R6 Mark III, automotive photography. Okay, is that like posed classic car stuff, or are you shooting like racing and stuff like that? All right, cool. Los Angeles, we got a Sony person from Agent Coin. That sounds like a villain in the DC universe that has something to do with financial despair. All right. All right. Wisconsin. Kathy, how are you? Kathy, I don't think I've seen you in a while. I know the whole, I only see you at Shutterfest kind of a deal. All right. Before we get going, I just want to let you guys know, number one, we had one of the coolest guests ever on Coffee with Creators. I don't know why I didn't pull it up, but Neil Leifer was here last week. Are you kidding me? He hung out with Joe McNally right here. Hanging out with him at the diner was legendary. Two legend guys at an old school New York diner. It was awesome. If you don't know who Neil Leifer is, we're talking about one of those prolific sports photographers. I would say photojournalists, really, that in our time. Very close relation with Muhammad Ali, the famous Sonny Liston photo. Has shot incredible sports from 16 Olympic Games. He has over 200 covers. I mean, he was amazing. Let me throw this link in the chat so you guys can watch that on playback. What am I listening to? Oh, here we go. Can't win, guys. Hold on. All right, if you guys can do me a favor and just watch this on playback, that would be amazing. Watched Coffee with Creators this morning. It was amazing how many photos I knew just by mention without even seeing them. That is a legendary career. We throw around the word legend in this industry so haphazardly, but the reality is there really are only a few that have hit that moniker, really. I mean, it's insane, you know? Hopefully you guys can go check that out. And just so you know, I'm going to need your help. If you are on the replay gang, I know we got a whole crew that does replay and not joining us live because, listen, not everyone can join live. I need your help, guys. Coffee with Creators, the views have got to come up, all right? I need to show some life in those episodes. Some of you might be listening to them on like Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever, and it doesn't actually go to the YouTube video. If you could, play the YouTube video. You can play it on audio only if you guys want to do it that way. But I would really appreciate if you guys could check out the Coffee Creators playlist because guess what? We are almost at episode 100, and I'm working on something for the 100th episode. We'll see what happens there. But also, you know what you guys did? We are less than 2,000 away from the 100,000 subscriber mark. We're about to get our silver play button. Remember when we couldn't even get to 10,000? I know some of you remember that. I know Tony remembers that. I know Brad remembers that. Oh, what's up, Heidi? Haven't seen you in a minute. Hope you're well. So things are popping off on this channel. I'm so excited. The 100K is going to be a big deal. I think don't forget, the more I grow this channel, the more resources I can bring to you to bring you cool stuff, right? Speaking of cool stuff, this week, this week is bananas. Why? My buddy Jeremy Saffer is coming in. Whoop. Oh no, something updated and went wrong here. Hang on, guys. Let me go to this, do this, and turn that off. Okay. Jeremy Saffer is going to be here. Great guy. Shoots a lot of metal bands for a long time for all types of applications. Live concert. Well, he's going to be here for Coffee with Creators and at 11 a.m. on Wednesday, and then 5 p.m. He's not just talking. My guy is throwing down. Jeremy Saffer went on his social and was like, what New York band is around that needs shots? And he's bringing a band in here and he's going to be photographing them live. That is legit, right? So he's not going to be talking about live performances, but let's say you are working for an event and you've only got a few minutes with the band backstage. What's a fast setup you can get into? Things like that. Quick portraiture, band portraits. A lot of you guys asked for how to shoot groups. That's what we're going to get into on Wednesday. So Jeremy's going to be here at 11 a.m. We'll talk for an hour. You'll get to know him. 5 o'clock Eastern, you're going to see him throw down. My guy's killing it. I'm really psyched that he's coming in here. On Thursday, May 21st, get an intimate look at the A7R6 that just got released last week. A lot of you have heard all about it. 67 megapixel stack sensor, 30 frames per second, 8K video, the whole thing, right? If you guys have any questions about it and you're in New York, this is in person only. There is no stream, but it's basically all day, 10:30 to 4 p.m. So just hang out, swing through, say what's up, go to Gotham Roasters, get some coffee, come hang out here, say what's up, be communal. And then Tuesday, May 26th, I am taking Daniel Norton out of his shoebox. I am dusting him off. I'm oiling his joints, and we are bringing back the critique. It hasn't happened since September of 2025, and you've let me know about it every day of my life. Well, guess what? It's back. You can be a part of it. You do not need to submit to be here for the critique. You can just come hang out, all right? So Tuesday, the 26th, 5 p.m., come hang out. If you do want to submit images, follow the instructions in the Eventbrite. If you don't follow those instructions, I cannot help you with your life anymore. You are a lost cause. You are beyond my help, okay, guys? And then the 27th, Jillian Lenzer is coming in here. Great commercial photographer, has a really cool story. Sigma is supporting this event, so she'll be here at 11 a.m. And then 5 p.m., she's throwing down. She's not just talking, she's shooting live. I love these days. I love where you can get to know who he's going to be teaching, and then you get to see it happen in front of your face. It's not just a bunch of talk. It's not just a bunch of photoshopped, highly edited stuff. It's no curation. They're who they are, and then they go do it later on. It doesn't get more authentic than that. If you guys want to go on a photo walk, June 4th, 4:30, my boy JC's coming in here. You guys know JC Carey. He's on this channel, I think, 2 or 3 times. Westcott guy, also a great photographer in his own right. Known him a lot of years. In fact, I knew JC from punk shows when we were kids, and JC is a monstrously huge guy. So I'll let you figure out how those punk shows went. But he will be doing a photo walk. And then June 16th, Ian Spanier's back in here. We'll talk more about that as we get closer because we're like a month away from that. But just know it's stacked, guys. It's so stacked, okay? Hopefully you guys can, 1, check out the Neil Leifer interview from last week. 2, check out Jeremy Saffer on Wednesday. Then check out the actually, isn't Daniel going live at some point? When's the first week of June? Okay, so this one's really cool, and I'm really glad Daniel brought this back. I think, what is he? It's not listed. Why is that? I'll find it in a minute. Oh, the 28th. That's 28th. So next week. Is it this week or next week? Next week. Next week. This one I'm very psyched on that Dan's doing this. He used to do this series where he would take famous portraits and then recreate them with the lighting for somebody else. So he would break them down and then do it live. Or actually, they were edited back then. On the 28th, he is recreating a famous Marilyn Monroe portrait because it's her 100th birthday. Like, it's just a cool, I'm so psyched, man. Good on you, Dan. So come support that. All right. If you guys are in this chat, hitting a like definitely helps out. I know this was a long intro, but there's just so much going on that you need to know about. And I do like to think of the stream not only as an Ask Me Anything, but also as a newsletter kind of a thing. I got you, so why not talk about it? Also, Really quick, last week, our own Joe Addison was live with LED versus strobe. If you guys ever want to get into that, he totally takes it in a nice direction for beginners and people trying to understand this. Okay. All right. Enough of the meow, 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 right? What are we doing? Oh, did anybody say hi to Quinn? No? Are you guys, who raised you? What is this? I know. I'm sorry. Yep. Don't worry. You're going to get paid for the day. Don't worry. If you guys have any questions, throw them in the chat with a bunch of cues. I can't believe I'm at 100 Coffee with Creators also. I don't know what happened. We did 100, minimum of 100 hours of talking to cool people that you should know about. So I still can't believe it's 100 episodes, but the numbers don't lie, right? I can't believe we're at 100,000 subscribers almost. The numbers don't lie there either, right? You're all part of this. All of you guys are part of this. Joe did have a good demo, and you guys should check it out if you didn't. He's walking a little taller. I'm looking at him right now. He's a little taller today. He's like, I did this big demo all by myself like a grown boy. You were blocking her? I'm not, no one can block Quinn. She's larger than life. Look at this. The personality is just, it resonates. Oh, by the way, guys, I was going to bring this up. Look at these SanDisk memory cards. Look at this. They have put out their CF Express Type B cards, version 4.0, and they had these at NAB. And I was like, these are awesome. So they said, here, we made you a set of them. So I got 2 terabyte V90, V60 SD cards. Yes, they got contacts. And a CF Express Type B for 4.0. And as we all know, the only way to properly put a CF Express card into our cameras is to clean it first. All you Nintendo kids. How many of you sat there with a gold Zelda cartridge trying to get it to run? Oh, come on, Captain Skyhawk. Anybody remember that game? Probably not. I'm just saying, you know. Also, can I just get you guys to comment that they should make these into pillows? I think these would be amazing on someone's couch in the background for live streams. I also want one as a welcome mat for my apartment. I think that would be cool, a CF Express welcome mat. Is that a new shirt, Quinn? No, on Quinn, no, that's a regular. That's the same shirt she's wearing for a few years. My girl likes to keep it real, you know. She's not out there doing fast fashion. She's sustainable. All right, I do have a bunch of questions on my question sticker. If you don't know, if you're new here, typically what I do is put up a question sticker on my personal Instagram, which is right here. And you guys can throw the questions in that sticker. And there were a few, so let me just jump on that really quick. First question I got was HSV photo, if you're in the chat. Yes, pillows, right? Thank you. What? They looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, make these into pillows. Anyway, don't get me started. And by the way, I am going to be showing the CF Express version 4 cards when they're more available. We're going to kind of do some, I think we're going to film some red code in real time. That's a heavy file size, and we'll offload it and see how it goes, all right? HSV Photo's asking, wedding photo, about 6 people looking in sun to show scenery. So obviously they want to get ambient exposure. They're not looking to control the light, right? They want to see wherever they are outside. Should they use an 8x8 scrim or a 10x10 scrim? Rule of thumb is you can always go bigger with a scrim as opposed to smaller. Once it goes smaller, you project shadows if it doesn't cover the real estate of the photo, right? So like their subject. So if you think about it, on average, each person is going to be about 2 feet in width, some larger, some smaller. And of course, you're going to be doing this with them as opposed to this. So I usually tell people factor in about 2 feet of space per person on a minimum. So if you're thinking 6 people, 2 feet of space, that's about 12 feet, right? So right there, an 8-foot scrim is going to be tight unless you get people really crushed in there or really sideways, right? And don't forget, it's only 8 feet when it's right against them, because as it's farther away to get it out of frame, it gets smaller to subject, right? So 8 feet quickly starts acting like 6 feet. So don't underestimate how much real estate you're going to need for a diffuser like that. This is why 12 by 12s exist. This is why people are doing giant scrims and just doing group after group, not just for one photo, but for a lot of photos. With a group like just 6 people, if you could find open shade, you're probably in a better position. Meaning if you can find someplace that has shade to put them in while there's sunlight in the back and you can mitigate that exposure properly, you'd probably be better off that way. But you're gonna need a lot of, if you're just trying to diffuse the sun, basically, you're going to need a lot of real estate, okay? Oh, Michael's saying they should make these memory cards into clipboards. I could see that. I don't know how many people would actually use clipboards, but I think there's a lot of stuff they can do with these, you know? Our own guy over here was saying they should make it into a wallet for memory cards itself, which they do have that. It's just really small. I think they should make them into picture frames. Remember those book opening picture frames would be kind of cool. But yeah, if you are trying to get a group of people and then get them underneath a diffuser, always bigger is better than smaller. Okay, the farther you move it away from your subject, the less real estate it's going to have. So you're gonna have to watch yourself on that. Okay, I would more likely try to find open shade period in a situation like that. Maybe a building that's blocking some sun or something like that. Also, what time of day you're going to be at, where the sun is going to be in the sky, all factors. But as far as your question goes, 8 by 8 or 10 by 10. I always go bigger rather than smaller, especially since an 8 by 8 scrim is going to need grip anyway. So why not, if you're going to bring the stands to hold 8 by 8, you might as well bring the stands to hold 10 by 10 or 12 by 12, right? That's the way I look at it. The question is more the grip than anything else, because you're going to have those types of stands anyway, right? So I hope that was helpful. I hope you were in this chat. I don't know. Question, Neil Leifer, wax amazing? Oh, was amazing. That's not a question. Guys, reserve the QQQs for actual questions. I love you, Tony, but come on, man. When I do my own demos in here, I have to run everything. Whenever I see QQQ, I always go like, oh, let me stop and look at it. If you did that to me while I was shooting live, forget it. All right. Oh, another question. Of course, I closed the screen. Kathy is asking, how would you light an outdoor photo in sunny conditions 3 hours before sunset to look soft? 3 hours before sunset? So are you talking about the sun being low in the sky and it'll be hard? Is that what you're saying? Like you're gonna, do you want it to look warm like sunset? So this is kind of an odd question. So what are you really trying to get out of that sunlight? I know you're in the chat, so let's talk about it. Your question as it stands is, how would you light outdoor photo in sunny conditions 3 hours before sunset to look soft? Honestly, it's kind of like my guy's question over there, using a diffuser. Depending on what you're shooting, if you're just shooting one person, you can get away with a portrait. You can get away with just like a diffuser disc. Oh, you guys have your 5-in-1s, right? You can get away with, if you want it to look soft, which is what you're saying, right? You don't want it to look like a hard sunset. You can just shove the light through, through a diffuser here, So if it's lower in the sky, put it about here, shoot tight. But don't forget that sunset light is going to be warm. That's the whole point of it. So are you fighting the look of sunset, or are you chasing the look of sunset but trying to make it a little cleaner looking, You could always just use the hard light but fill it in with a bounce, which might be more optimal because you're not fighting the properties of what sunset looks like, right? So you're leaning into the organic nature of sunset. You're just cleaning it up. But if you want it to be soft, you're going to want to make it, going to want to diffuse it, and you're going to want to make it bigger, closer to subject. So even though it's the sun, if this becomes my light source over here, actually, can I do this? Let's see if I can use this pro photo for this. Because this is also bicolor, so why not, right? Let me make some room in here. You know, I'll always do what I can for you, Kathy. You know that. You've been a ride or die forever, and I appreciate you always in the chat. Let's put on the modeling light, and let's make it super orange. Okay, so this is a very orange modeling light, right? So this is also low in the sky, light, like it's low in the sky. It's not overhead, right? And if I were to zoom in on me, and I got this hard, let me lower this. I got this hard sunlight here, right there. We're softening it up, right? And keep in mind, the sun's gonna be farther away. We do this, and we've got a softer light. Actually, I could probably shut off some lights and make this look a little better. Let me see if we can kind of take out some of this stuff really quick. So let's say we got this hard sunset, right? Let me do it closer to you guys. Right? You see how soft it just got compared to this, right? Let me raise this up. I can't believe I'm doing this for you, Kathy. I'm like driving myself crazy right now. So I'm over here, we put the diffuser in. Look how much softer it got, right? Right? It'll break apart the light, it'll diffuse it, and it gets bigger to subject. So you can actually shoot tighter. Let me raise this light so it's a little more out of the way. Right? Now it's softer. And then what I would do is probably put a reflector in here to open it up a little bit. So technically something like this. Right? A lot softer, right? Ah, this is so crazy. I can't believe we're doing this. Let me move this laptop. I got no room in here. This is bananas. I'm only making a fool out of myself for you, Kathy, because you deserve it, okay? So we diffuse it, right? Diffuse it. Bounce this in. And we've got ourselves a lot better of a light than wrecked, right? Put the diffuser in. Put the bounce in. And we're looking better already, right? Not bad. Come on, this isn't bad for a guy solo by myself recreating sunset in a 12-foot square studio here. Come on, guys. Right? I hope that was helpful. Oh, man. I can't see what I'm doing. I got to give props to Pro Photo on this modeling light because it is bright, kids. So for anyone asking, can you use this modeling light for video? I'm overexposed to you right now. That means I got plenty of power here. If I were to dial this down, let me see. Dial this down, make it a little bit more of a on exposure a little bit, right? Not bad. Not bad, right? Whew. Wow, everything has shifted in color for me like you wouldn't believe right now. Oh my God. Oh man. Okay. Whew. If you didn't have a reflector with you and backlit them, would that diffuser bounce some light? You could use a diffuser to bounce light for sure. But at that point, if I had a circle reflector with me and I had the reflector skin, what he's saying is if I turned it this way, right? If you did, let me see, where am I? All right, so what he's saying is if we had it behind me like this, right? Be a lot easier if I was just outside, right? All right, so let's put it up in the sky. If it was behind me like this, right, and we shut off some lights here so that we kind of recreate some stuff, what you would essentially do is just use the reflector, because then this becomes the size of your light source, right? So you would just bounce it back in. So you see how I'd be like a silhouette, and then I bounce it back in, and it should be, in theory, a little soft. I'd probably put something bouncier over here. Let me see. See, if you're going to bring your 5-in-1 diffuser reflector anyway and have the diffuser, you might as well, I mean, look at that. That's a lot better than this silhouette that we're making happen here, right? And then we bounce in the warm light, right? And it's a little softer, right? But now we're talking about which angle of light do we want to use, really? You know, so it's either you want that direct sunlight look that's broken, or you want to do the backlit feel, which is kind of a go-to when it comes to like light shooting in the sun. Is you let the sunlight from the back, you expose for that, and then you bring in with a bounce, you know? So actually, I'm already out of breath. Man, let me see. So if we do this, right? Get rid of this. And we bring in the reflector this one. Actually, I'm doing this backwards, but do it a little bit like that. Something like that. Does that make sense? Let's see if I can. I don't know why this is turning into this, but this is what this stream is, guys. We don't know what's going to happen. All right, so I take the sun and I'm bouncing it back in, and then I bring in a little bit of this, and now you've got yourself a lot nicer and softer of a light, right? Because the light source is the reflector, is the boards, right? And if you had someone that was holding the reflector, watching the light, you'd be in a better position than me hand holding it by myself. So there's options. You just have to pick what kind of light you really want and what direction of light and how you want it to look, you know? But in reality, you have the sun ripping through. You can diffuse it, bounce it, redirect it, you know? Just keep in mind that when the sun's doing a sunset thing, it's changing by the minute. Boom, boom, boom. You got to work. Oh my gosh. Seth, I just joined. Sorry if you answered this. But what are those giant SanDisk? So at NAB, SanDisk announced their Steve Express B version 4.0 cards, and they had these on their display. And I made a big deal. I was like, these are awesome. This is so cool. And they were like, we made some for you. So very cool. Thank you, SanDisk. I think this is awesome. Again, I think they should make these into pillows. And I think they should make these into like throw rugs and stuff. Nerds all over would love it. See it in the background of people's live streams, you know? Man, I gotta hold on, guys. I need water. Oh, yeah. It is hot in here, man. What is exactly the benefit of 2.0 versus 4.0? Can cameras take advantage of it? Okay, so one, read the specs of your camera. What version Steve Express type ports does it have? If you have a 4.0 card going into a 3.0 slot, it'll work, but you're not going to get the speed boost or anything out of it. If you have a Steve Express 4.0 reader, so for example, let's say I had a camera that was not 4.0 slots, but I was shooting to a 4.0 card that's fast. If I have a 4.0 reader, I'll be able to unload my images or video. If you're shooting terabytes of video, right? Or if you're editing off the card, you want a faster card to edit from, keep it plugged in. You can totally do that as well. So it's just adding speed, right? But if the if the slot itself is not rated for that, the card is just kind of future-proof for you if you ever get a camera that does have 4.0 slots. Also, if you get a 4.0 reader. But if you just have a faster card and don't have any interface for it that is that speed, where's it going to get that speed from, right? Oh my gosh. It's so sweaty. There was another question I think I missed. I was curious because my girlfriend shoots a lot of families outdoor. I'd like to help her fill those families. And I have a giant reflector. Listen, you can never go wrong with having a giant collapsible reflector somewhere on hand. You'll figure out a place to use it for sure. Even if you just lay it on the ground sometimes, it does more than enough, you know? Man. Did that answer the sunset thing? Are we suffice? Did that suffice for you guys? Yes, if I could put a game genie, maybe that's what we need. We need a game genie for the memory cards, right? And those can go in, right? Then we can all figure out our own little weird codes. Be like, oh, look, I can walk through walls now with my camera because of my Game Genie. If you don't know what that reference is, you're uncultured. I don't know what to tell you. You should know what Game Genie is. Game Genie, Game Shark. Where are you? Who are you? Who raised you? All right. Man. All right, cool. Let me see another question I had. Steven Pazulik. Not sure if you're in this chat. I don't think I saw your name in there. Okay, well, he's saying, I love shooting eyeballs close up. Okay. How can I get it well lit without a huge catch light? Okay, that's interesting. So what you guys have to realize is catch lights, one, are specular highlights that are basically reflections of the light source we're using. So if you are seeing a reflection of your light source in the eye, there's a couple things you have to automatically consider if you want to get rid of those catch lights. One, bigger diffused catch light. In fact, actually, I'm glad I have this right now. If your light source is a big diffused disc, there is no specular highlight because the entire shot is shot within the highlight. Does that make sense? If I had, do I have something small on me? If I had, let me see if this has any power. Obviously, I don't have an eyeball to do this with because Quinn is an amazing woman with no eyeballs. All right, this battery's dead, isn't it? Yeah, it's dead. Okay. If you have a small light source, it's going to be the catch light in your eye. You can probably even see it on my eye right here, right? But if I had the entire light source being this disc and I'm shooting macro, it goes away. In fact, I'll shut off this right here. All of a sudden, we don't have catch lights in the eye because the entire highlight is the light. So there's no end to the highlight, therefore it won't be the reflection you're shooting. The other thing you have to remember is everything in the room is reflecting light. So you yourself, if I were you, giant soft light source, I'd get in there and I would shoot between black, meaning like black duvetine. That way the light isn't spilling on me and reflecting back into the eye. Because how many times have you guys taken a photo of somebody and you see yourself in the eyeball, especially in a studio, right? That's because the light's reflecting off of everything and going right back to the eye. So diffuse the light source the best you can, and make sure there's nothing reflecting around you to go back to the eye to then make a specular highlight. The catch lights are reflections of the eye, right? And now someone's going to go, oh, but you need hard light sources to get the texture out of the eye. Right, but everything's a trade-off, right? You can play angle games all you want, and about the best you're going to be able to do with a hard light is go from the side and hope that it illuminates the eye somewhat evenly, but every eye is shaped differently. Some are more spherical, some are actually more protrusion, right? Some, you might think there's a lot of texture in that eye until you go shoot it and it looks like it's out of focus because some have a heavier, dense membrane over them. There's so much that goes into it, so many variables that happen. But if, based on his question, which is how do I get rid of the specular highlights? How do I get rid of the catch lights? That's how you get rid of catch lights. So you're going to constantly play this game. If you're looking at something like a medical shot where it's like a microscope, typically there's a light source like a ring around the around the microscope type instrument, and the light is evenly around the eye and you're shooting past the light source. So when that happens, you're not going to get a specular highlight here because the specularity is around here. To me, kind of a boring shot because it's just a macro shot of an eyeball yet again for the millionth time that we've seen since the dawn of photography. But if you're trying to get rid of specular highlights, that's really what it is larger diffused light source that doesn't get a chance to be small enough to make specularity, and also blacking out around you so that nothing is reflecting to go back into the eye. I would start with that and work from there, because odds are what you're doing now is just playing like angle games, and all you're doing is moving a dot of a catch light around the eye, which isn't doing anything for you, right? And then even if you bounce that into something, that isn't big enough to then be a catch light, so, or diffused enough. So I would really, really do just like a mat as large as I can sized diffused catch light, as, I'm sorry, diffused key light as close as I can get it, macro in as far as I can, wrap myself in black so nothing reflects, and see if that happens, you know? I never thought of how eyeballs are shaped. They're just a lump of, no. So listen, eyeballs are such variables. Do I have anything I can show you guys? So I have pictures of Ashley, who you guys have seen. Let me see if I can find something of Ashley. What is this? No. See if I can find something of Ashley. What did I shoot with Ashley? What did I shoot? I think it was a ZF, maybe? I don't have those photos anymore, probably. Oh, I know where they are. Screensaver, probably. Hang on, guys. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Sorry, guys. This is one of those questions that's just hard to demo on the fly, especially when I don't have like an eyeball to work with right now. Give me a second. Because I know Ashley's eyes like are something I always chase when I photograph her. Actually, this is, who is this? All right, so for example, this is Marissa as an alien when I did the D850 video a million years ago. That is a small softbox, and that is a small softbox. Thus, it's going to make a specular highlight because it's a small source that's not, the highlight doesn't cover the entire eyeball, right? If I show you, wow, where is it not in here? Screensaver. It's under screensaver mix. All right, so this is the picture of Ashley. See if I got something. I'm just going with the picture of Ashley because I know for a fact I had like her eyes like dead center in that frame. But more often than not, every eyeball is shaped differently, and how far they protrude means how much of how the light rakes across the eye and how spherical they are, and that's versus how much more of a flatter. It sounds weird saying this, but like a flatter surface. Come on, man. I guess I can't find it. All right, never mind. Sorry, guys. Thought she was in here, but maybe I just don't know what I've named the files or something. All right, well, we'll move on. Okay, so this is a good one. So for example, this is all natural light on the street. Well, guess what's reflecting in Gabriella's eyes? Me, graffiti, a store, the halo reflector, like everything that could reflect light back at her eyeball is going right into that. So everything's a catch light because her eye is basically a mirror, right? And that's just what I'm dealing with natural light. That's what I'm saying. If you black out all the things that will reflect back at the eyeball, you will have a better chance at getting just the texture of the eye rather than any specularity in the eye. Trying to find, come on. I love how like everything, I can find everything on my phone. Okay, here is another one. So this is a new school Joker, but their eye is way rounder, like spherical, and honestly looking a little irritated, but we kind of want that. But you can totally see that rolling their eye away from the light source gives me only part of the catch light, right? Now imagine if that light source was big enough to engulf the entire eye, you would be exposing for this highlight rather than here. If I'm exposing for this highlight, then the whole eye becomes the highlight. It's kind of the same thing with like glasses, you know? Am I spending too much time on this, guys? It's really hard to explain, and I'm trying really hard. Okay, here's Ashley. Look at all that texture. So I went with the hard light here. I went with a really textured, as much texture as I get. And I mean, you can see all the texture I'm pulling because you see every hair, you see every little baby hair on her face. But look at everything I'm pulling out of her eyeball. But then when you look back at the Joker, they have a way murkier looking eye. Oh my gosh, come on, dude. Let me see if I can pull this up at the same time. So there's this. Oh, shoot. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. This is what happens when you're doing live streams and you don't know how you're going to go about it. So forgive me. Where's my folder? But you guys get what I'm saying? I can put them in I could do the Discord later, but the reality is there's just a lot of variables that are going to every eyeball, and the only variable you're going to definitely deal with is one, they're reflective, they're glossy, right? And there is a texture to them, and you're going to want to preserve that texture to some degree. But if you were trying to get rid of those specular highlights, there's always going to be a trade-off somewhere for something, right? Do you have a halo around? Can you show us how to grip to make a speed light bigger? I mean, the reality is a halo is the same thing as this. It's just got a rigid frame that collapses, but this is your light source. So when we talk about a light being bigger or smaller, right? Like this is a phone flashlight that's a few feet bigger than a few inches now, right? So it's about your distance. And the further your light goes from your diffuser, the more power you're going to need from that light to cover the area and get through the diffuser. So when you're talking about gripping a halo or a reflector with a speed light, it's really, what I do is I flash, is this on? What I do is I flash the light and just keep an eye on it and go, all right, that looks about right. Because on a speed light, you might not have a model light. If you do have a model light, you're ahead of the game. But here, this is right up against the light, and then this is filling the whole light, filling the whole diffuser. So the light becomes 4 feet as opposed to a few inches, and thus gets softer because it's bigger in relation to our subject. Wow, you guys are really pushing me on this one today, huh? Wow. Man, oh man. Did I lose like all of you guys trying to find pictures on my on my laptop here? Sorry about that. This is how these streams go, right? We don't know what we're gonna get into, but we get into it for sure. That's definitely screensaver. Let me see. So I really want to put that Joker up against the up against Ashley's eye so you guys can see completely different feeling eyeballs with a similar color tone actually, which is interesting. Okay, so you see how much more defined it is? Oh. Sorry guys. You see how much more defined Ashley's is than this Joker? Right? Different eyeballs, different shape. The Joker absolutely has a rounder, more spherical eyeball. Ashley has a larger eyeball, more surface area, right? Would be better if I had one of Ashley that wasn't in black and white. Should actually have something of her that's not in black and white. Let's see. Okay, so this is, yeah, that works. So this is Ashley with a silver reflector bouncing into her eyeball to get all that texture to pull through. But look at the surface area of her eyeball. There's a low-res version of it. Of course it's a low-res version of it. Why wouldn't it be? Do you have anything else that's a little more eyeball-y? All right, I hope you guys get it. I don't want to spend forever on this. This is I mean, that's literally me in a white shirt inside Marissa's eye as an alien here, right? So just to give you an idea of blacking out the space, you know, I didn't think it was necessary there, obviously, but whatever. All right. Oh, man. This is exhausting. I'm not going to lie to you. All right. What do you consider the 3 most essential modifiers any photographer should have? Newcomer or veteran, let's say, for fashion and portrait for now. Okay, one, I kind of want to get rid of everybody using the term veteran for photographers. We are just photographers. The veterans put their life on the line. Unless they are photographing war, I think we should kind of ease up on using the veteran term for photographers. 3 most essential modifiers any photographer should have. Well, I'll tell you right now, the first thing you should do is decide what type of light you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you say I'm shooting portraits, okay, what kind of portraits? Because I could tell you all day, a 7-foot umbrella with a diffuser on it that's huge and soft and you can't miss. Okay, but what if I want to see the detail out of the jewelry and the texture of the skin? If I want to see scar tissue on their face, if I want to see how coarse their hair is, that's not the light that's going to do it, right? So before you start saying what modifiers every photographer should have, start looking at photos and light that you like and then chase the light. I know you guys want like an answer and buy these 3 products. I get it. But if it's going to be in that realm, I would say something soft, something hard, and something to reflect. That way you can kind of figure out one way or another where you want to go per session. You could do a large umbrella and then close it down if you want to make it smaller and harder and more less spreading everywhere, less spilly. You could do something like a hard reflector, but really, I really urge you guys is to start looking at images and portraits that you would like to be in the vein of, and then chase the light that's coming from those portraits, right? So when I was starting, I studied a lot of Richard Avedon, and everything Avedon did was pretty open light. I mean, not everything, but what is probably his most famous portraits that you guys would know of is a white background that's a very big open light. And if you look at the way I shoot now, it's very sculpted, controlled, small light sources. So you're going to evolve and you want to have the tools to do that, but I would really urge you to go after the light rather than the tools, and then get the tools that get you to the light. Does that sound right? Was that just like an awful answer for you guys? Seth, I just purchased a second A2. Will you do a live with these great lights? I've done a lot of small light demos. There's small flash demos on this channel and on my own channel. So if you are looking for small light demos, there's that. A really good A2 demo is the Meg Lux demo. Meg Lux, I should say. Meg Lux demo here on the channel. That was only a few streams ago. I can put that in the chat if you want. She's like a ninja with those little lights. I'll put that in the chat. Hang on, guys. Adorama event. Meg. All right, I will put this in the chat for you to check out. But I did small, if you just type in Seth Miranda small flash on YouTube, there's like 20 demos of that. And again, it's not about which lights we're using, it's about how we're using them, you know? Can you explain about the lighting patterns of studio harcourt? I don't even know what that is. Is that something I should know? Studio harcourt? I don't know what that is. Sorry. All I heard was, but everything. That's, oh, geez. No, I appreciate it. I'm glad you guys appreciate this. Throwing likes is an easy way to help out. We are almost at 100,000 subscribers. And I'm not going to lie to you, I feel like I threw this whole channel on my back to get it there. This is the 49th of these open question AMA streams. Next week, we're not here. It's Memorial Day. Adorama's closed. I would like to have a life for a moment. Kind of crazy. So next week is not going to be the 50th, but we are doing, the next time we see each other in this format, it will have been the 50th one of these. Can you believe that, guys? Like, that is just nuts when I think about it. Man, my throat is killing me. Also, Joe McNally did a bunch of A2 demos here as well. We can, I mean, if I remember to bring some A2s, we can get into it, but the reality is I don't really need to bring A2s if I have other lights here, right? So it's all the same application. It's just you have a ceiling to the power you can raise the light to, you know? Which I guess, is that the demo you're kind of really after, is like how to mitigate having lower powered lights? Is that kind of what you're like, is that kind of what your question is? Sorry, guys. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. We are, I don't know, we're at 98,000 and change. I hope we might be hitting 100K before the end of the month, which is just crazy. I know some of you guys have been in this chat since day one, and I remember saying to you guys, like, we got to get to 10K. Hopefully we can get 10K, raw, you know. Studio hardcore is, oh, I know what you're talking about. Like precision lighting, flags and bounces according to quick research. So you're talking about more like old Hollywood, right? So hot lights, and then basically what you're talking about is using larger, harder light sources and then using flags to block off where those lights spill because they were hot. You weren't throwing soft boxes on them and stuff like that. You were throwing diffusion in front of them, stuff like that. Nowadays, we don't have to do that. We can really do things way more controlled with way less steps, way less equipment, and just get to the light we're going after without having to kill ourselves with that type of look. And I think a lot of people chase like a vintage feel and try to go authentic kind of, but you kind of don't need to go crazy anymore. I mean, if you think about it, you now have projection heads on your light that you can have flags built into the light. So if you're going after like a Paramount light or something like that, it's just leaning more towards a harder light source. It's leaning more towards, I don't want to say overexposed, but brighter highlights like hair lights and stuff like that. And that's kind of what you're kind of talking about with like the old Hollywood type feel. Well, I haven't heard that term in a long time. That's why I probably was like, I don't know what that means. Sorry about that. But reality is, you kind of, what was the actual question? I'm sorry, man. My brain is going 1,000 miles a minute here right now. Yeah. So if we're talking about like explaining what that old Hollywood look was, it really was just like larger light sources that we were then blocking where we don't want them to spill, which ended up having things like slashes of light on the background or overexposed hair lights and really snappy, I want to say hard light, but that's really what it is actually. And then don't forget, the lenses were different. We were shooting on film back then, so you had like haziness to it, and you know the glass would have a little bit of little textury characteristic of flare to it and stuff like that. So you can easily get something like a mist filter, which if you guys remember, we did the mist filter a few weeks ago with the Nisi filter. We did that live. You can check that out. I think it's a few episodes ago. To soften it up, break it up, diffuse that light. And then it's basically just a system of controlling the spill. And if you did want to soften it up, putting diffusion in front of the light rather than building some sort of modifier to the light. But again, nowadays, you have so many tools that you can do this with and do it without creating heat and uncomfortable set conditions for people, right? Because back then, throwing a lot of heat around with those tungsten bulbs, man, or, you know. And we're able to do it with more efficient power as well and cleaner fidelity and stuff like that, so. I hope that answers it. I feel like I kind of cheapened out on that response, but I hope you guys get what I'm saying on that. Sorry about that, 64. But welcome to the stream. I only got a few minutes left, so I'm not about to build an old Hollywood set in here. But you have so many optical focusing projector head spotlights now you can throw onto a light for just a few $100, and you've got all the control in the world. You have all these stencils, you know. Maybe doing an on-set using the flags and screens to create dynamic portraits would be an interesting way. Maybe we could do that. I'd have to get a flag kit in here. We don't actually have any. We just use like boards and stuff on the fly. I have a really good flag set from Manfrotto. It actually breaks down and fits into a case like this big. It's pretty awesome. It's kind of like their Halo version of a flag kit, which is pretty cool. We covered it at NAB 2023, I want to say, maybe. Yeah. Good morning from MIA. Sorry for showing up late. Thanks for the coffee craze. Jolene, not Jocelyn. Her name is Jolene, and she's the medical examiner officer. She shoots for the New York City Medical Examiner Medical Examiner's Office. Man, I'm dying, guys. I'm sorry. And she does a lot of tintype and wet plate, and she actually uses, I would say, kind of a more of an old Hollywood type light, which is just really big power packs. Really, she uses a lot of power, you know. Maybe do that as your live coming up, or bring Ab in to do it. He loves. Ab has done some really great hard light demos here on this channel for sure. So maybe he already answered that question in one of his lives. I don't know. What's going on with your set? Are you tearing it down to rebuild? What do you mean? Like this setup? No, we're not tearing anything down. We're cranking along. I'm not sure what you're talking about. But yeah, guys, we're in the last few minutes, so if you have any questions, let me know now. If it's something I got to do a crazy demo for, use your heads. I'm not going to go jump into a new setup right now. But if there's something I can help you with really quick, let's go for it. No worries. If you guys are part of the replay crew, we're going to call you guys, the replay crew. What can we throw in? What food haven't we done for the call sign? I don't remember what we've actually done. Man, I'm having a bad brain fog day, guys. I am foggy. Oh, the wall looks torn. Oh, no. This is a V-flat. This is just a piece of foam core that has been here for 15 years. Daniel bought this thing for $10. An 8-foot V-flat is like $200. This has been through every live stream we've ever done here. So I just keep all the V-flats behind the set paper, you know. We did rainbow cookies already. Yeah, I know we did rainbow cookies because that's like my favorite thing ever. You know, I had a really cool thing at this Turkish coffee spot by St. Mark's. The guy did 2 shots of espresso, ice cream, oat milk, and pecan butter blended into a shake, and it was awesome. I was like, this is everything. All right, I'm gonna go with Edgar. I'll go with chimichanga because Edgar's in the chat. That is the most West Coast thing you could think of, huh? Type in, all right, if you are on the replay crew, type in chimichanga in the comments so I know you watched it this far. And next time we do this, guys, it will be the 50th live stream for the Ask Me Anythings. Can you believe it? Don't forget this week, Jeremy Saffer is in here at 5 p.m. doing a demo, but also 11 a.m. Coffee with Creators. So Wednesday is Jeremy Saffer Day. He's going to be shooting a band live in here. Come on, guys. How cool is that? Also, Daniel Norton is going to be live on the 28th, recreating a Marilyn Monroe portrait, and it will be for her 100th birthday. Pretty cool. I love when Dan does these. I think he's one of the best to break down lighting schemes from photos ever. I mean, he's just awesome. If you guys want, you can follow me over here. And if you want to jump in my question sticker, I do it on Instagram the day before we go live. Also, you can check out my own channel. All right. I've got some stuff cooking for my own channel. And hopefully I will get around to doing something more substantial for my own channel, you know? No, thank you, Kent, and I'm glad you could join a little bit of this live. Appreciate you, and thanks for being the replay crew. The replay crew is crucial. If the replay crew does not come out to rewatch these things, they die on this platform. Hopefully this was a helpful stream. I feel like I went all over the place, and I'm feeling super foggy, like I just did not give good answers today, and I wholeheartedly apologize for that. All right, final questions, guys, because we are hitting 12 noon here in New York. It is also like 90-something degrees. We got Monday Night Raw tonight. I know Wes is going to be watching it because he's addicted to it. Hope you guys enjoyed the Ronda Rousey 17-second fight, you know. Hope you didn't have any money on it. I don't know what to say about that. The Nate Diaz fight was fun, though, right? Yeah. All right. Guys, I guess I will leave it there. Make sure you jump back in this chat on Wednesday, 11 a.m. Coffee Creators and 5 p.m. demo. Don't forget Wednesday. The critique, right. If you were in New York, don't forget the critique is coming up on, when do we set it for? May 26th, okay? So if you are going to be in New York, me and Daniel are coming back out. Since September, we haven't done one of these. Submit your work if you want. These are not live stream, they're in person only, but if you do not submit work, you can still show up. Come hang out. It's just Adult Swim. We just kind of hang out, okay? All right? And there's just so much going on. Wednesday is going to be awesome with Jeremy. I'm pretty psyched. My guy shoots Hasselblad and Leica, and I think he's going to be using a lot of Nanlite stuff, I think. A7R6 on Thursday. Come to the store. You can check it out with actual Sony reps here. Ask all the questions you want. May 26th is the image critique. Daniel Norton is live on the 28th with the Marilyn Monroe portrait. There's just so much stuff going on. So much. And it's all free, guys. It's all free. Can't beat that, right? It's all free. The $3 bins is still here. If you're in New York, come sift through the $3 bins. You never know what you're going to find. I threw a bunch of stuff in there a week ago. Probably all gone now. But yeah. All right. Oh, man. Okay, so I guess I'll leave it there. If you're watching some playback, chimichanga, hit like, hit subscribe. Watch this. We'll do one of these. Little subscribe, little thing over here. And hopefully when I see you, we'll be at 100K. If not, it'll definitely be the 50th episode of this AMA. Guys, enjoy the rest of your week. I hope you have a great rest of the week. I hope you guys are staying active out there. The Adorama Discord still exists. If you guys want to get active in that again, Adorama.com/Discord. You can join that Discord. Just hit OK in the rules, and you'll open up all the chats. Share some work. Get some help from each other in there. We gotta try to revive that one. I'll see you guys. I'll definitely see you guys Wednesday. Okay. All right. Till then. Be good to each other and go shoot some cool stuff, all right? Be good, guys. Later.